It's been a little bit of time, ladies and gentlemen. So glad to see you back here on another episode of Night's Ransom. I know we've been a little bit remiss in streaming recently, but as much as I want to say it's not my fault, it was my fault. There's no other way around it. But I am officially moved into my own place. I am feeling fantastic about being in my own home and looking forward to seeing what this party decides to do with the story that I am telling. So we got a couple announcements, specifically, if you have a D&D Beyond account, you are going to want to make sure that you have alternate ways to log into your characters or download your characters as they transition over to being owned by Wizards of the Coast. I saw that email come through, so I just want to make sure anybody who does have a D&D Beyond account that you are able to save your characters if needed. In addition to that, with one player out on Saturday nights, we are currently on a mini hiatus while we try and figure out a day that will work for all of us to be able to finish that boss fight off. So we will keep you all updated on that as soon as possible. And yeah, I think that's everything. Without further ado, let's join the party. Okay, when we left the party, you had all parted ways with a caravan who were hoping to flee to somewhere safer. Uh, sorry, I'm just referencing my notes here. Apologies. Uh, who is leading? Heading out in the morning.
Monarch would be happy to take the lead.
Okay. Give me a perception check, please.
I think I'd like to join Monarch.
Both of you can give me perception checks then.
Where is perception again? There he is. Oh, okay.
Not very good this morning.
We're in the middle of a rousing conversation.
Clearly. Who's bringing up the rear?
I can.
So Sasha, please.
Yeah.
A perception check.
Not me forgetting to take out Sasha's dice, but that's okay. I'll just use another person. Well, actually, no, I can grab his really quick. They're right here. Excuse me. Okay. Well, it's an 11 on the dice. Let me just double check his modifier. I think it's a 5. I think or a 4. Oh no, it's a 5. Ha. 16.
Okay. Everything seems to be going okay. There doesn't seem to be any interruptions. There's no issues or problems.
Okay.
Even the forest is alive with the sounds that you would normally expect in the middle of the day.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out for changes just because I know this area. It's just something, and being told that things are off, I definitely want to make sure that I pay attention to the surrounding area.
Yep. Did you ever tell me what god Sasha would be associated with?
Hermes.
Hermes. Right.
Yeah. With Hermes because I travel a lot.
Right. I can't remember if I wrote that down, so I'm gonna write it down right now.
I'm pretty. Did I write it
You
down?
probably told me, and I just honest
Oh,
to
yeah.
God forgot.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that's okay. I just noticed that I have 69 maximum HP.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Fuck.
All right, your day of travel passes with relative ease. And, well, as you prepare to rest for the night, the forest is quiet. Although you're thinking perhaps it is because you are much closer to the mountains and the forest is starting to thin out than that there seems to be a problem. And in the distance, just underneath what looks like a smattering of clouds up the mountainside, seems to be a large city-sized settlement.
Would that happen to be Travercraig?
It would be.
Oh.
You're thinking that given the terrain and the distance, that you might have maybe 2-3 days of travel left.
All right then. Should we set up here for the evening?
Let's see, why not?
As good as anywhere.
What were you saying, Sasha?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. You settle in, eat dinner, share stories of yourselves with each other, getting to know your companions as much as you're comfortable. Before you settle in for the night, I am assuming that Orion would be, well, casting Layman's tiny hut.
Yes.
And as you guys settle in for the night, secure and safe within the dome. When you open your eyes in the morning, it is not morning. Matter of fact, you're not sure that you slept even more than an hour. And for those of you who, well, don't sleep, it seems to be more like while trancing, you have appeared somewhere else.
Is everyone awake?
Yes.
Yeah,
This looks
something odd
different
going on.
than when we went to sleep.
So if we're in a different place, the bubble is gone, yeah?
No.
No?
No, not technically. As you're gazing around, this place is full of light and warmth. Insomuch as it is warm enough to not be too hot, but not cool enough to be cold. It is that perfect temperature where you are comfortable wearing whatever it is that you're wearing. Everything is lush and green, and there are fountains. And it is then that you realize that there are beings all around, either in conversations with each other or doing tasks.
Are any of them, well, do any of them notice us?
It doesn't seem to be. At least not yet.
Hmm.
Orion,
Mm-hmm.
I know you sleep like I do. I don't. It was kind of like it just we were back at the woods and now we're here. Did you notice anything happen?
Did I notice anything hokey happening?
Nope.
Nope. It
Okay.
just kind of changed around us.
Okay then. Well, do these other beings do they look aggressive at all, or like is
No. And as you gaze upon what is happening, it seems that um everybody's preparing for a wedding.
Hmm.
well? I guess maybe we should ask one of these hopefully nice people where we're currently situated.
Yes, we should go ask.
That sounds
See what's
good.
going on. And Fred's gonna walk outside of the tent.
Well, you're not in a tent. You
Or
were
sorry.
kind of just in a what seemed to be not an alleyway, but
Okay, I thought you said we were still in
no.
Lehman's tiny hut.
No, no,
Sorry.
no, no. You opened your eyes and you are not anywhere where you went to sleep.
But we're still in the hut.
You think your corporeal bodies might be.
Okay.
Okie dokie. A waking dream.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Fred's gonna walk up and say, "Hi, my name is Fred. This may really sound like a strange question, but where are we?"
The woman that you ask turns and is holding a large pitcher in her hand. Inside of the pitcher seems to be a liquid, and it smells to you, Fred, like the sweetest thing that you have ever tasted. You said that your name was Fred.
Yes, Fred.
Are you a nymph?
No,
Hmm,
I'm a Tandrak.
Tandrak. You're immortal.
Yeah. Aren't you?
No, I am not.
Um.
I am a goddess.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Welcome to Mount Olympus.
Fred kind of looks over her shoulder. Guys, did you hear this? How
That
how did
sounds
we
a little.
get here?
I need a perception check from Sasha at advantage, and everybody else a regular perception check.
Okay.
A little better this time. Oh, damn, Audric.
Much better.
23.
Okay, Otter.
17.
Okay, anybody who had a 20 or higher, you feel the presence of another behind you.
I'll turn
Uh,
around.
as you turn, you see you see a woman wearing a crown, holding a royal lotus-tipped scepter with a hawk perched on her shoulder.
I'll
Hebe,
bow.
Hebe, you need to go finish getting ready. You are not serving people today. It is your day. The young goddess nods before moving off. The woman, regal with her crown, glances at your group and gives a slight incline to of her head. I am Hera, Queen of the Gods, and you are here at my behest.
Kitchen's gonna do a nice formal bow.
Fred's curtsying in front of her, like bowing, like, hi.
Arsef will just dip his head.
I'll do the same. Just the dipping of a head.
What does a great queen require of such as us?
Well, it is not so much what I require of you, but what another god needs to discuss with you. However, he doesn't have the ability to pull you in like this. That is specifically reserved for the upper echelon of gods and goddesses. Namely, well, the big six.
Well, of course we are yours to command.
Today is Hebe's wedding. To the. Hang on, me trying to make sure I'm not saying this wrong. It is a celebration of Hebe's marriage to Heracles, a demigod who proved himself worthy to sit with the gods. However, you are here to meet with one of the gods of the underworld when he arrives. For now, enjoy the festivities. There are seats designated for you within the hall itself. Worry not, yourselves and your possessions are safe. Anybody under my protection is.
Thank you. Um, I want to say your grace, but I don't think that's the right word.
Nope.
My tired brain can't think of the right one.
Majesty works.
Mm-hmm.
Your liege. High priestess? No.
Nope.
Should be
Because
considered.
this is the actual goddess.
Yeah.
Your Majesty would be the correct, because she's
I
the
have
queen of the
not said
gods.
anything in this time, but anyone can hear the furious scribbling in my notebook.
Of course.
Gonna need a new pencil soon.
Those notes still going to be there when you wake up?
If they're not, I can redo them. Good memory.
That's true. I guess, yeah, Kitchen will do another bow. You know,
She'll find
thank
our
you
spots.
so much. And yeah, go find a spot.
The entire area that you have access to here on Mount Olympus stretches far. There are marbled pillars, like what you would expect of the gods. Predominantly, you've seen them more often than not adorning the front of the temple of Athena. I almost said Aphrodite. That was wrong. The temple of Athena, considering the fact that the temple of Athena deals primarily with law. So it's the large marble pillars. And okay. There are large, sprawling acropolises. Acropolize?
Necropoli. I'm gonna go with
Acropoli?
Necropoli because that sounds more fun.
It does sound more poetic, and I
Rolls
do
off the
believe you're
tongue.
right. There are large, sprawling acropoli that you can tell hold certain gods or goddesses because they are designed specifically after those gods or goddesses. There is one that has weaponry and looks to be the home of a well-to-do commander. It stands to reason that that would probably be Ares. Where another seems to be a place of rest and beauty. It is, by no chance, next door to Ares, and it is Aphrodite's. And there are many more. Each god or goddess has their own place, and depending on their hierarchy within the gods, it determines how big the Acropolis is. But there is a large area that has been cleared out and made fresh. The marble is smooth and bright, almost reflective with how white it is against the sun. But not enough to blind you. There seems to be just enough cloud cover to make it so that it's not blinding, but it's still a sunny and perfect day. In the distance, you see, working with what you could assume are nymphs, is a woman. Well, at this point, you could safely assume is a goddess. And as she walks along, she spreads flowers of varying blooms and colors but all complementing what seems to be a plan that only she can determine. It is probably safe to assume that that is Persephone, the queen of the underworld. Also commonly called the goddess of spring. This is a almost stark contrast to what you know is happening down in the mortal realm. Kitchen. Despite the fact that technically your race can't smell things, please give me a perception check at advantage.
Oh, okay. Wow, I am just not. Oh, well, okay, 23.
Something in you senses that there is a place that you need to be.
Is it like, is there a direction I'm just kind of drawn towards?
Yes.
When no one's really paying attention to me, I'm going to just kind of meander off in the direction that I'm feeling.
Okay. Um the you find what seems to be a fairly large kitchen, like specifically like a hearth kind of kitchen.
Okay.
And there are many that are bustling about here. However, they all stop as you kind of reach the edge and turn to look at you. And one approaches you as the others immediately get back to work. She is portly, almost like she eats well and often. But
As everyone
it
should.
yes. But it is the kind that it makes her feel warm and approachable and somebody that would probably give the best kind of hugs.
Hello there. I just had to come and see what was over here, and I'm glad I did. This is a very nice kitchen.
Yes. You wear my symbol
Oh,
on your forehead.
so I do. Hestia.
Would you like the greatest honor of cooking for the gods?
Yes, I would. Oh, oh, I would.
And she just holds her hand out to you.
I'm taking that hand.
And she leads you into this hearth-like kitchen. And you work quite literally side by side with her to make the meal for Heracles and Hebe.
You know, I could die right now and I'd be fine.
Well, it is a good thing that Thanatos and Hades haven't arrived yet, then.
You're fooling. Huh?
Of course.
Oh, thank goodness. But yeah, kitchen's on like cloud 9 at this point. Happiest he's ever been. It's all downhill from here for him.
Sasha,
Yes.
you glance up. You're not sure what it is that makes you look up, considering the fact that Mount Olympus is most well known for being the highest point in the world. But you look up, and above you, in a chariot, is a tall, lanky man. who then seems to just almost disappear before he appears once more. And he sort of flits in and out of the air. And there are times where you see that he's not in the chariot at all, and he seems to actually be delivering letters. And just for a moment, he alights down next to you. Yes, I know where you're all supposed to be. If you would all follow me, your clay friend has already found his way to the kitchen. And I believe that we have one of you who would be able to help Hephaestus, two of you who would be able to help Hephaestus. One of you... Hold on, I need to go back to the beginning of my notes. Another one of you who would be much appreciated helping the bride get ready. He turns to look at you, Fred.
I would be
And,
honored.
oh god. Hang on. Zara, could you please do me a favor and
Yep,
send me the
absolutely.
god again, please? Because again, I feel like I wrote it down and I know you've told me, but I can't remember.
I could only imagine what Calix would be doing here. Besides probably getting killed by at least 13 different gods.
Well, Calix would have just gone to spend time with Ares.
The real question is, how
understand.
much chaos could Calyx cause before getting caught?
Before getting killed those 13 separate times. This is not the place for Calix. Calix would be like, I want to go home now. I will not participate. Goodbye.
Sasha, you are
Yes.
handed a map
Oh.
of Mount Olympus.
Oh. Thank you.
And on it lights up 4 different little markers. 2 of them are in the same place, and the other 2 go off on their own.
Okay.
2 of them are in the same place,
Yes.
of course. And you notice that above them, what languages do you speak?
Yikes.
Remind me, please.
1 moment. Languages. Elven, Common, Celestial, and Dwarvish.
Okay, written in Celestial
Oh, perfect.
are the names Monric and Orion.
Okay.
And then above the other 2 are Fradrina and Karasef.
Okay.
This will take you to where they need to go, and then if you wouldn't mind giving me a hand, I have quite a bit left to do.
Of course. I would be honored.
I promise you will be thoroughly compensated for any work that you do with me, and we shall make it work.
Of course. Everyone, follow me. I'll be your guide. I'll start with the closest, whoever's the closest, whether it be
The closest would actually be Fred.
perfect. First stop is Fred. First stop, Fred. Second stop. If you wanna just give me them real quick.
Yeah, first stop would be Fred, second stop will be Monric and Orion, and then the last one will be Karasef.
Perfect. Okay. Off to bring everyone to where they need to go.
Fred,
Mhm.
you are dropped off outside of the bride's chamber, where you are met by the most beautiful woman you have ever seen in your life. As you are met by Aphrodite herself.
I've dropped into a curtsy in front of her.
She waves off your deference and then gestures to the bridal party. I'm going to need help. It takes a lot of work to make these women beautiful, and it looks like you're going to be up to the task. Let's go. This is like a no-nonsense kind of deal.
Yes, ma'am. Show me where you need me to be. And I will
And
go
she
help.
does. You are just instructed.
This is so much fun. I am so happy for you.
Sorry, I was quickly reading up on the two gods that was sent to me by by Zara. Orion and Monric are left outside of Hephaestus's blacksmith chamber. Is blacksmithy. Where the two of you are instructed to assist with the final creation of the wedding bands.
Oh, wow.
And then
What small more gifts I have are certainly at Hephaestus' call.
between the two of you, you would be able to come up with something worthwhile and gorgeous. Karasef, you are the final one dropped off, and you are dropped off to a pair of goddesses who are sitting next to a fountain. One seems to be almost unseeing as she regards you. Almost like she's staring over your shoulder and through you, but with the wrapping over her eyes, you're not exactly sure. And the other is sitting cross-legged on the edge of the fountain with what seems to be a ledger in her lap. Neither of them say anything until Sasha has moved off to go continue assisting Hermes.
I'm gonna bow deeply and just say that it is an absolute pleasure to even be in their presence. Or an honor, not a pleasure.
You know who we are, then?
Oh, yes.
We know what the god of death is going to ask you. And we need you and your party to right some wrongs.
This, I believe we could do.
Good. Because these are wrongs that are done against the gods, and it cannot stand.
Surely
Karasef,
don't.
what languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, and Celestial.
Okay. You also hear this in Celestial as, damn it doesn't give me a pronunciation for this. As Themis starts to speak and tells of a deal and a bargain made with the shadows for everlasting life that comes at a cost.
Listening intently. uninterrupting.
I will actually write up the prophecy during the week and then send it to
Sure.
you. This move has been hell. But basically it amounts to that anybody who would be considered a good person is placed in a pit that then saps them of their life force, giving power to the shadow and allowing these two to continue their lives.
So, what is it that you would have us do to right this wrong? For if they are immortal, as you say, surely there's no way we could directly kill them.
They are immortal, insomuch as if they are not felled in combat, they will live forever. The shadows were not quite that kind to them.
Excellent. There is surely a known path ahead then.
But they have hundreds of years of experience. So, be cautious.
Oh, this is not a new slight.
No. However, it is not one that has come to our attention until recently. I was visiting with the Morai, and they said that they had tried to cut their thread, only for the thread to be coated in a oily black and to be unable to be snipped.
Bizarre indeed. Then in battle they will fall.
I hope so. Ye will be our herald, as it were. Their nemesis, if you will.
Be an honor.
Good. Now, enjoy little festivities and happiness before everything isn't. And Karasef, with that, you are dismissed from the presence of the two goddesses.
And off I go.
Is it difficult to find your way back to the wedding hall? You just turned your camera off and just glanced over and saw you do that. But yeah, it doesn't take much to find your way back. Sasha, Hermes has you seating guests as they're arriving. You and your party have places about the middle of the room.
Okay.
So you are above other mortals who were invited to witness the ceremony. However, you are not above any of the gods.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable.
Fred, you are moving very quickly to assist Aphrodite in preparing the bridal party. And as you leave them to finish relaxing before the ceremony, you head over to the groom's side next. Where Heracles and all of his other demigod friends are almost drinking themselves into a stupor.
Boys, 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 boys. The groom included?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Of course.
Are you guys going to finish getting ready? I think we can perhaps have some water right now.
Now, why would we need to drink some water? Aren't you here to entertain us?
No, I'm here on behalf of Aphrodite to make sure you guys are presentable. You don't want to, I know your bride should be the shining jewel today, but you wouldn't want to embarrass her, would you?
Well, she is a reward for a job well done.
I see. Well, then continue. See what she thinks of you. Anyways, please get into your stuff. Get into your tuxes. Let's go.
As they get into their wedding wear, you help them neaten up. Some of them will even kind of wilt underneath your mom tone.
Can I tighten his, high just a little tighter?
No. However, Heracles does seem to maybe not sober up, but definitely starts to look a little bit more presentable. He's not swaying on his feet. Well, not yet. And he gets the lion pelt that's over his shoulders settled properly before he clears his throat and looks at you and just says, "Humble nymph, it is such a delight to have you here tonight. Will I see you on the dance floor?"
Let's see.
That's not a no. And then the rest of his crowd are uproariously laughing. Think Michael and his groomsmen. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Let's be real. If that had not been a dry wedding, they all would have been drunk off their asses. Maybe not Michael. And let's see. Orion, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to give me a performance check at advantage, please.
Thank goodness for that advantage. That is a 21.
Perfect. Between you and Monric, you are able to craft the most gorgeous set of wedding bands. And once they are done and presented to Hephaestus for his final approval, they are blessed by Hephaestus and Hera, who arrives to collect them. And with a small wave of her hand, you both feel refreshed, as if you hadn't just been working in a forge for the last little bit. And you go with her and Hephaestus, who walks with 2 leg prosthetics. Not unlike ones that you've seen with some of the people in the caravan. although his are significantly more sophisticated. Where theirs would require them to continue to walk with a cane or a crutch, the way his are settled, they're a lot more like the prosthetics that runners would use, like Paralympic runners would use. Yeah. They are mechanical wonders. Orion, you're not sure if you could recreate it, but you definitely could put the plans down.
Oh,
If you were so
aside
inclined.
from my time in the forge, I have been doing nothing but taking notes.
Any questions that you would ask of Hephaestus, he answers in short but concise sentences.
Mm-hmm.
He is not much one. He is not much for conversation, but your questions don't go unanswered. Kitchen, you have crafted the most glorious meal for the head table. And
Hestia, thank you so much for this opportunity.
it is my pleasure, Kitchen. It is not often that I get to cook alongside one who views me in such high regard.
Oh, the very best. You are just way above everyone else here. Don't tell anyone, please.
Your secret is safe with me.
Thank you.
And she kind of holds her arms out to you for one of those really comfortable hugs.
Kitchen's like jumping in there.
And
Like,
she does.
again, this is the happiest he's ever going to
Yes.
be.
And she hugs you, and it warms you to the core.
I've named one of my spice blends after you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's
It's
in
my
it?
favorite one. What's in it?
Yes. I
Oh,
would love to
well,
know what's in it, because if it's as good as you are, I might just use it.
and then Kitchen starts like taking out everything and showing like the exact measurements of this spice and that spice, and just kind of explains the entire process.
Love it. And she doesn't really take notes, but it's clear that she's not going to forget it.
Again, thank you so much. Your knives are so sharp. I swear I could cut through concrete itself.
They're self-sharpening. In so much as they will never go dull. At least not while you're working.
Is that something I could do?
It is an enchantment. And if you continue your ardent following, I might see fit into seeing that you get at least one.
Like you had to ask.
Sometimes incentives are good.
Yes. Yeah, very okay. Yes.
And then with the meal properly left to keep warm, everybody arrives back at the wedding hall. And the wedding goes off without a hitch. There are no issues when the groom says, I do. Nobody jumps up and says, I object. There is a distinct, notable lack of Zeus at the ceremony, but Hera looks pleased that her daughter is marrying a man of such renown. The feast and dinner afterwards are as delicious as anything else Kitchen has made before. Perhaps it has a slightly finer edge to it, but you're thinking that might be because it was made up on Mount Olympus. Not that the food down on the mortal realm would pale in comparison, because Kitchen always makes you all very good food. But there just seems to be that little edge of fine. Something you think that if you were to prove yourselves worthy, you would be able to eat like this every day. As the celebration continues to wind up and, well, get loud and rowdy, as it were, your group is approached by some of the gods of the underworld. Please hold. I need to get to the appropriate thing. um Come on. Okay. Approaching you is 3. One looking rather regal and why is he not here? Where did he go? He looks regal, like he is the king of the underworld, as it were. And next to him is that goddess that was dealing with the flowers that you saw earlier. And flanking them is a man who has a pair of wings folded along his back and wearing a necklace of a scythe, specifically a reaper's scythe. And the other is a woman with dark hair and a pair of with a pair of torches that are hanging off of her hips, currently unlit. This is Hades, Persephone, Thanatos, and Hecate. I hear that you're headed to Travercraig after my sister has allowed you to return to the mortal realm. Is this correct?
That would be our plan, yes.
Hades glances at Persephone first before looking over at Thanatos, giving him a small nod, and him and his wife disappear in blue flame and a flurry of flower petals, leaving you alone with Thanatos and Hecate. Thanatos steps forward, and Hecate kind of just sweeps her hand, and a table and a set of chairs arrives for all of you to sit down so that everybody is comfortable, whilst you discuss what it is they want from you.
Take a seat.
Thanatos leans back in his chair, looking slightly unimpressed. How familiar are the six of you with the gods of the underworld?
I guess my question is, does Hermes still help bring the dead to the river in your setting?
Yes, but not nearly as much as...
Would I know some, I guess, some remembrance of the dead
Yeah.
because of the interaction?
Yes,
Okay.
you would be vaguely familiar.
All right, then I do know some.
Okay. Allow me to explain.
I'm familiar with
As the
some of
god...
the older ones, but not so much the current ones.
Yes, you're almost older than time itself, are you not?
It's been a while.
I suppose so. Well, for those of you who are unaware, consider this a short little education. As the god of the dead, I cannot actually kill people. Once their thread has been snipped and their lives are over, I collect their souls to bring to the king of the underworld, where they sit either in judgment or are granted a life befitting of what they have done. There are... Hecate speaks up at this point. There is a section of the underworld specifically reserved for innocents, children who die in accidents, or young women sacrificed to ancient pagan gods due to mistaken beliefs. And they are allowed to live their lives within the underworld as if they were living them here, or well, they were living them on the mortal realm. Heroes who have done fantastical things, like Saint Misano, for example, they would reside here on Mount Olympus. There is a complete section of Mount Olympus reserved specifically for heroes. However, as he was saying, if they're not dead, we can't bring them in for a judgment, nor their afterlife. And this is where you're all going to come in. Those two that run Travercraig have been traveling amongst the continents, doing what they will after making a deal with the Shadow. And the Shadows have allowed them longevity past what they should be. If you kill them, then they can answer for their numerous crimes, including the inappropriate dispersion of souls, which carries a very hefty crime and punishment in the underworld. We don't take kindly to those who take what is ours. Which is why it's always such a problem when anybody tries to come into the underworld to get their loved one back. Whomst did we just lose? So, I'm going to need you to take care of them.
With pleasure.
Fully.
Can you tell us anything that might help us gain advantage against them?
Well, the they are strangely resistant to darker elements. Something that would be like a decaying or would be associated with a decaying body, for example. Apologies, hang on. Let me pull up their character sheets because I actually have character sheets for them. They are also resistant to the kind of damage that you would expect of something born of the underworld. Specifically of one of the circles. You okay? They are siblings. However, they are cunning and don't quite like when the other doesn't maintain their attention on. It is strange. I understand that our own hierarchy of marriage and whatnot can be disturbing. But they're awfully close for siblings. He will fly into a rage should she fall before him. And while she will not rage if he were to fall first, she will become erratic, more prone to mistakes. I have spent a good time studying them, however, until they have died, I can't do anything. And while technically a god, there are rules in place that prevent us from meddling in human affairs and mortal affairs, sorry. Although some gods and goddesses don't listen.
There are a
Both
lot
of
more
them?
rules these days.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Both of
mumbling.
them kind of glance over their shoulder, and you see in the distance, Zeus kind of just leaning over and flirting with a nymph. Well, Hera is sitting up at the head table. Some don't like to follow the rules that they put out for everybody else. So,
I mean, they did break the
So
rules
other
to
than
get where
killing
they
the
are in
brother,
the first place.
this is true. You were saying, human.
so other than killing the brother first, is there anything else you can tell us about them that might help in our defeating of them?
Uh, he did tell you that they were resistant and immune to 2 things.
2 things. I thought he just said darker energy
Necrotic
like
damage and
necromancy things.
Yes. Necrotic damage and
Did anybody catch the end?
It was
darkness of some sort.
they are resistant in a way that would be familiar to those from the layers of Hades.
So fire and necrotic.
Fire.
Yes.
Gotcha. Would that make them weak to a more pure magic, a holier magic?
I'm not sure. I can't say that I saw anybody try. But they have a very firm grip on that town. If you are going to deal with them, you're going to need help. And a replacement for them.
Any recommendations?
I've spent so much time watching them, I can't say that I have spent too much time watching the town. But I trust whoever you choose. And he's looking at you, Karasef, specifically, knowing who you were talking to earlier. Whomsoever you choose, I'm sure, will be the right decision.
We'll choose wisely then.
May I be so bold to ask a very off-topic question?
Of course.
How well do you know of Demeter?
Well, I am significantly more acquainted with her, considering the fact that she is the mother of my queen. Why do you ask?
Could you enlighten me as to the significance of the cornucopia in reference to Demeter and when she moved away from such an icon to whatever she seems to be using now?
I'm not so sure that it was her that moved away from it, and if it was her followers that wish to update what they were seeing, I suppose.
Hmm.
I would... It has been quite a few years. The cornucopia was, and still is, a symbol of abundance. Usually used for bringing in the harvest, as it were. It is still one of her symbols.
Just no longer a very widely used one.
No.
So in a way, you could say a cornucopia could be a vessel unto
It is
Demeter?
possible. It is possible. I could not say with any surety.
Intriguing.
Are there any other questions that I might be able to answer?
If I may,
Yes.
on our way to Travercraig,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we've discovered that there's some sort of curse or something going on, where if you don't do everything on a deal, um, you'll be punished. Is there a way that you know of that we could avoid that?
I'm not sure that it is a curse. I think this is just the rules of that particular city.
Well, so that they could, so maybe that we could avoid detection from however they're listening in.
I can't say for sure.
Follow-up question then.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as we are on a task by the gods, will will we receive any blessings or boons or gifts?
Hmm.
Not trying to sound greedy or anything, but it would help. We're not as mighty as you beautiful gods.
No, and, well, we wouldn't expect you to be. As for a gift from the gods, you will find that when you're returned to your corporeal forms, that something may be left there for you that will help you in your journey. It may not be relevant right at this very moment, but it might be useful later.
Every bit helps. Thank you very much.
Is there anything you can tell us about the shadows with whom the siblings have made pact? Are we going to need to worry about fighting them as well?
No, I don't believe you will. Um, because it is more that, um, hmm. There is a part of the, well, there is a part of the underground that, well, I'm trying to think of how best to explain this. I'm sorry. It's that it is a place called Erebus, specifically headed by the goddess of the same name. They're chaotic and like to stir up trouble. However, being part of the underworld, they tend to deal with certain parts, but they're supposed to only deal with a very specific subset of people. Um, and creatures for that matter, and these two do not fall under that.
Okay.
I hope
Would
that.
you suggest a path?
No, go ahead.
Would you suggest a path different than us simply arriving in town and calling out these siblings?
We cannot tell you how to go about this. As is, to be honest, we've interfered enough. And if Zeus were to find out, it would be bad. Hence why both our king and queen left. So that they have plausible deniability. They would protect us, but they do need the plausible deniability.
Okay.
If that makes sense, of course.
It does.
Best of luck, and enjoy the rest of the festivities. With that, they both disappear in a wisp of smoke that quickly dissipates. And as the night is setting, you are all invited out to dance on the dance floor. Nymphs, demigods, heroes of all kinds come over to talk to you, assuming that you are also heroes in your own right, considering the fact that you are here on Mount Olympus. Some of the minor gods and goddesses come over. Food and drink are flowing well into the night. And as you settle in, kind of leaning against a fountain as a group, in one moment you close your eyes, and in the next you are back in Leomin's tiny hut. Yes, Zara, you 100% get a dance with both Nemesis and Themis, if you would so desire.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
So you get to
Jarzep would
dance with
definitely be
both of
seeking
your
that out.
goddesses.
Lo, in the morning we wake.
Yes. And as you open your eyes, you are back in Layman's tiny hut as it fades with the 8-hour mark having dissipated.
Was that a dream?
I immediately
if you
open
had
my
done so.
notebook and see if my notes are still there.
Your notes are all
Yeah.
still there. However, they seem to have almost an ethereal quality to them. Such as if you shift them a certain way, it's almost like they disappear. But when you shift the book back, they are definitely still there.
Well, seems like that did in fact occur.
Well, you know what that means. I've cooked for the gods!
Means we have a job.
Wah!
And a mighty fine job you did as well. It was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful feast.
I'll be honest. It was nerve-wracking. Oh. Does anyone see our gifts from the gods?
Yes. I don't see them anywhere. No.
Wow.
Karisef, you're blind.
The mask twisted a little bit while you slept. You can't see out your eye holes.
Here we go. Yup, that's it. I'm actually sitting on it, whatever it is.
I will let you know what the gifts are next week, mostly because this was something I was throwing at you kind of last minute and I actually need to plan out what I'm giving you. So hold tight, you will find out what they are, but they are there. Whatever they are, they keep changing shape and appearance.
Oh my
So
god,
at the
guys. These things, they're so amazing. I'd show you them, but I'm just gonna put them
Amorphous.
in my bag for now, and then when we get closer to Travercraig, I'll take them out for everyone. It's cool.
They
I wonder
seem
if
to
they will
be
simply
kind
take
of
shape when needed.
blurry. I wonder if they're buffering.
Yes,
Hold,
exactly.
hold. Please loading, loading. Please hold.
It's like a dial-up connection.
I was just about to say, who's got the soundboard for the dial-up sound?
Wee.
Mm-mm.
Had to listen to a robot perish every time you connected to the internet.
Yep, pretty much.
It's just a little blurred out error message. Error 404 item not found.
Um Okay. As you prepare to ride out, uh stormy, dark clouds roll in. And the sky opens up and pours. And you are traveling in the wet.
Wet socks.
Joy.
What are socks?
Are you barefoot?
There's something you put cheese in.
Ah. What?
What? No, do
Why are
not
you
tell
working
me you
on
have not been serving us
cheese?
cheese that has been in socks.
That
How else do
is
you get the moisture out?
disgusting. What is wrong with you people?
You put the curd in, squeeze the moisture out, and you get perfectly good cheese.
Are they at least like new socks, unused socks?
Well, yes, of course. Most of the time.
When you remember to use new ones,
The
right?
better response is, well, you've never noticed the difference.
To be fair, you haven't.
It's always so delicious.
Wow, I am so glad we're talking about cheese in socks that have come from people's feet. Moving on. Your um your travel time is cut down significantly. It is very difficult to see forward. There are parts where you kind of have to like move around parts of the road that wind up flooded just from the sheer amount of water that is falling from the sky. Um as you continue on, like I said, the amount that you are able to travel is half of what you normally would have been able to. It actually gets so bad at one point you think you may have gotten turned around, um, only for it to let up enough to see that no, you did continue forward. It's just at a very slow pace. Um, hmm. Do you choose to stop early or do you continue trying to press forward?
Press forward as much as we can.
Depends how. I mean, it sounds like a pretty awful storm.
It does.
I'd probably prefer to get shelter.
Probably get dry in the hut. I don't like this cold.
Will be easier to march on once the storm is past.
Okay. As you guys settle in for your night,
Oh, no.
sorry. Um, and it was, the night passes. You listen to the rain fall on the dome of Layman's tiny hut, where you are warm. Uh, maybe not entirely dry, but you're warm. And drying out. Sometime during the night, the um the rain stops and the sky clears, and it is full of stars and meteors, and you hear the nightlife kind of coming to life now that the rain has stopped. Um and sorry, I'm just making a note before I forget. And you continue to travel on. The it takes you about another 2 days to reach the city. When you do, Travercraig is found between the two mountains of Picity. And you already know that it is run by the hard and iron fists of the sibling pair of knight lieutenants, Sir Jourdain the Warden and Dame Jesmond the Widowmaker. This settlement wasn't built between these mountains for no reason. Everywhere, whether you're magically inclined or not, seems to almost hum with a magical feeling of some kind. The city itself looks flamboyant, what you can see through the main gate, with its shingle roofs, pine wood walls, and what seems to be almost a rainbow of different flowers spread throughout the street. Travercraig looks almost inviting. But as you watch the people that walk, you can see that many of them are limping or having a difficult time or requiring assistance in doing what it is that they need to do. It is a relatively new settlement within the last 100 years or so. And it has a familiar architecture. Mostly because it was designed by the Ranger Elves, and the Ranger Elves or a family of Ranger Elves built and founded Quo, which is the capital city of Farah. Sorry. Despite how colorful this place looks, the people do not look like they are doing particularly well. Standing at the gates is a set of soldiers, not knights, but soldiers. And they are directing the small amount of traffic that is before you in through the city. As you approach, and Once you arrive at the gate, a tall, broadly built man, standing with his hands on his belt, looks up at whoever it is that's in the lead. What is your business here in Travercraig?
I'll step up and I'll talk to the man. Visiting, actually. My brother lives here.
And who is your brother?
Maxim Velkov.
Ah, you're the missing Velkov brother.
Well, missing. Hopefully not. I'd like to think I'd visit more than that. Has it? It hasn't been that long, has it? It's like I'm like counting on my fingers, like a few months. Maybe. No, it's been longer. Okay, missing for a little, but here now.
Yes. It is good to see you again.
And you.
This is Thomas Ruiz. Ruiz.
Okay.
He is a familiar and steadfast presence here in Travercraig. Not a knight, but not for... He has had chances to be promoted and has chosen to decline them. Liking where he's at as a sergeant. You know that he is married to one Marcus Ruiz.
Okay.
However, Marcus always seemed to be more of a reclusive kind of man. Well, Sasha, welcome home. And your traveling companions will be staying with you for the duration, yes?
Yes.
You know the rules, yes?
Of course.
Good. And he holds his hand up to you to shake.
Yep.
And as you shake his hand, you feel something slipped into your palm. And then he steps back and lets you guys through.
Slipped into the sleeve of my armor since I've got gloves.
Yep.
I'm just like, I feel nothing. That paper's flittling down and like blowing away.
Right. It's not a piece of paper. It's a small emblem, so like you definitely would have like...
Okay.
And most gloves, unless you're wearing like a full ass metal glove, most gloves will have leather on the palms.
Yeah.
For gripping things. So you
Yeah.
would at least feel something press against the leather and know that as you pull your hand away from his to clench your hand around it.
Yeah.
So, you are able to, you are able to navigate the streets, however, they don't hold the same warmth that you remember when you last left. But maybe it's an idea of comfort that had you believing that this town was warmer than it was. But you eventually find your way to the blacksmith shop that your brother owns.
Yeah.
However, the sorry, words. The door seems to be closed. And There is no heat emanating out of the building, nor is there sound coming from inside.
Excuse me for a moment, everyone, and I'll go around back. Try there.
The door there is locked as well.
I'd like to think that that's wrong name, thinking about a different character. Maxim would keep a key somewhere for me if I were to arrive here without him being here.
Yes,
Can I
you would
find
be
that?
able to find the key.
Okay. And I go. Hand is on the hilt of my blade, and I am keeping a close ear out.
Sure. You're getting the feeling that it's not so much that the place is empty, more so that he might just be out of the building.
Okay. Huh. Well, it's not unlikely that he knows when I come that this would be fine. So I will like slowly turn on some lights
Yep.
and go to the front door to open it. He's not here right now, so do we want to try and be for an inn?
An inn sounds fine to me.
Probably
Perfect.
best, yes.
You know of one particular inn that would probably be the safest place, where you could trust that the locks will actually work and people won't be breaking into your room.
Perfect.
It is a place called the Filthy Hunter.
Yeah, sounds safe.
Perfect.
Okay.
I will make sure to lock all the doors before we head off.
Yes, of course.
And leave a note for Maxim.
I was just going to
Okay.
say, do you not want to leave him a note?
Yes, no.
Okay. You lead the party to the Filthy Hunter. The first thing that you're able to do is get the horses set up in the stable. And and then you head in. From the outside, this place looks unwelcoming, rough, and gloomy. Clay bricks and sandstone pillars make up most of the building's outer structure. It's hard to see through the windows, but the quiet sorrow from within can be felt outside. As you enter the tavern through the heavy metallic door, it is unfortunately kind of as dreary on the inside as it looks on the outside. Squared wooden beams support the upper floor and the large molten candles attached to them. The walls are littered with all sorts of memorabilia, many of which have become unrecognizable due to the dust, cobwebs, and other dirt that have covered them. The tavern itself is currently almost abandoned. However, you guys are coming in about midday, and most people are still at work. The few people that are inside could be just about anybody. And whoever they are, it's the clearest sign that you guys can get that you clearly don't belong here. And before I keep going any further, I need every single one of you to give me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
Damn.
God, that's not good.
Oh, would you fucking believe me that I rolled 2 16s?
Can I have one of them?
I'm like looking
Yeah.
at the dice, like I can't fucking read that, and then I'm like, oh, never mind, it's just a fucking 16. 21. Doesn't matter which one I choose.
You know, Q, my low roll is also a 16
My god.
for a total of 21.
Damn.
I got a +5 to my wisdom saves. You know,
Same.
Okay.
paladin things.
Wizard things? Question mark?
Jesus Christ. Alright. Those of you who rolled less than the 21, I guess, you notice nothing. And it's not so much that it's because you entered this particular building, but for the two of you who do notice this slightly ominous presence that seems to be following you, it is more just that it seems to have, like, caught up and pinpointed where you are.
Oh, so it's not close.
No. This is
Ah.
more, this is more like a scrying
Oh,
that you have noticed and can tell is there.
I was like, be damned the man who thinks he can sneak up on me as I just turn around and grab him by the throat. But that's not what I'm doing. I
No.
guess.
Not like
Grabs
that,
the
sorry.
scrying eye out of the air, looks it in the face.
I don't like being watched. It's fine.
There's an invisible
There's a charge for that.
eye.
Listen, you want to watch me whenever I'm not paying attention? That's on you. Ain't gonna see much. I am a boring man.
You say.
Yeah, out loud.
How long
The
have you
fuck
been
is this?
traveling with this group?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Since a place, since a time.
Yeah.
Since yes, I think.
Yeah. Hey,
Like 3
Q,
weeks, a month
Yeah, what's up?
now.
what do you think's coming up real soon?
Oh no, I know.
Okay. Just so we're both on the same page.
Oh no. Oh no, I know. In the terms of my grandmother, I know. Sorry, I've been hearing that a lot recently.
You're good.
It's triggering, if anything. I will like look around, but I'm not. I'm making it look like I'm just looking to look at my party, but also to see if anybody seems to be giving off the aura of like, hey, fuck was that?
Oh,
What's the vibe you're putting out there?
you
porcelain boy?
recognize this as a little bit more familiar, Sasha. Orion, this is completely new to you.
Can I tell what direction this is, like,
Nope.
viewing me from?
Nope. It is, the best way to describe it is a scrying. That's not what this is.
Okay.
Matter of fact, for the most part, you shouldn't have even recognized it, but you both rolled frickin' 21.
I give a wink to the crowd. I'll leave it for now. I'll bring it up later.
Yeah. For Sasha, you would see me kind of just looking around more all of a sudden for a couple seconds and then kind of dismissing it.
Okay.
As you're entering the Filthy Hunter, seated behind the bar, cleaning a glass with a rag that looks like it's seen better days, is a man with short gray hair that's pulled back from his face. a face that is marked with scars. The eyes that stare at you as you enter his place of business are shrewd and almost seem to see more than you might be comfortable. But he's a bartender, so that is to be almost expected. However, he isn't moving from his position. He seems fairly stationary, where even if somebody was standing, you would sort of expect to see them moving from side to side a little bit. But for the most part, he seems to just be sitting still. And then he sets the glass down, leans forward on the bar, and looks at the six of you. What can I do for you?
Some rooms if we can.
How long you plan on staying, Sasha?
Probably not too long. Maybe a week at most.
Week at most? Eh. I'm assuming you're here to see your brother.
I am. Have you seen him?
Last I heard, he was doing a tour. Specifically a tour around town for anybody who might need his services.
Sounds like him.
He's made quite a name for himself while you've been gone. Getting rather innovative. There's an entire wait list for his limbs.
That's a surprising thing. For someone who specialized in armor and weaponry, limbs, when did this come about? Have I been gone that long?
No, I think that whatever those damn night lieutenants brought into the town have made it worse.
Night lieutenants. All right.
Well, they're a group. Sorry, hang on. They wear masks. Seems to be twisted versions of a mask of Ares. And they're either in burgundy or teal. And anytime they catch somebody doing a good deed out of the kindness of their heart, somebody's losing something. And it's usually not them. At least I had the good sense to lose mine because of a battle. And you watch as he stands, but you hear the distinct thunk of wood on wood. Which would tell you that he is missing a portion of one of his legs. Sorry, how how rude of me. I know Sasha, but the rest of you, welcome to the Filthy Hunter. My name is Nathan Harrison. And I used to be an adventurer.
And he's nothing. I'm gonna shut up.
What? What, Quentin?
How much of his leg is missing?
He's missing his leg from the knee down.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Make the joke. Q, do it, or you're not going to be able to handle it yourself.
Nope, I'm good. Continue.
Yeah,
Did you lose it from an arrow?
No.
Oh, it was probably, if it was an arrow, that'd have to be a big one.
Well, it was
Shining
actually
got infected.
it was technically an arrow. An arrow took out my horse and crushed my leg underneath it.
Oh. Sorry. Okay, we can move on. I'm good.
Ironically, the horse's name is Arrow.
No.
Like AERO though.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, the horse's name was Knee. He took the arrow to knee.
We're all adults.
It was just a typo of nay.
I love it here sometimes.
To borrow a phrase from Spaz, I hate it here.
I will
This is why I
still
can't have nice
never
things.
ever forget
No.
Spaz falling out of their chair. That will never ever not live rent free in my brain.
Laughing so hard, he disconnected his internet from his PC and shut his PC down. Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yep. Mock fell out of their chair so hard that they actually fell out of their chair and shut off their computer in the process.
God.
Peak content right there.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Alright. Now that you're set, well, I mean, he has asked for an introduction from you guys.
Hello, my name is Kitchen, chef to the gods.
It's a recent title. I'm kidding. I wouldn't say that.
Chef to the gods.
Yes.
Right.
You had
Monmouth
to be
Black
there.
Knight.
Ersef Gilmore.
Huh.
Hmm?
Furiously jots down last name for Karasef. You can call me Orion.
And the other two of you?
Hi, my name's Fred. She just kind of shrinks down and hiding behind Sasha.
Sorry, Monric, did you introduce yourself to Nathan?
I did. Monmouth Black
Okay.
Knight.
Sorry, yes, my brain didn't want to remember what people have said. Oh my god. Okay. He quietly regards the six of you before he gives a small shrug and then sits back down on the stool and gestures to the stools in front of his bar. You're you're gonna want to avoid the You're going to want to avoid the masters. That's what we've been calling them. The ones with the masks of Ares. People have a way of disappearing and not coming back. Are any of you hungry? I think we've got the cook just starting to make something, so you would be able to purchase a meal. And we'll get you set up with some rooms.
Perfect. I'm always hungry, so yes.
I'll take a meal.
Nathan kind of leans back, glances over his shoulder, and shouts a woman's name. The woman who comes out with hands that look like they're larger versions of what you would expect on a ball and joint doll.
Mm.
But it's both of her hands. they don't move quite as smoothly as some of the other prosthetics that you've seen, but then by the same token move smoother than some of the other ones as well. So it's kind of like a middling area. And now I want to know why you're rolling a D100, sir.
I clicked the wrong thing.
Okay. I was like, is this a significant thing? Should I be
No,
should
no,
I
it's
as the DM be concerned?
You've activated my trap card.
She's actually the boss. No, I'm kidding. She counts up how many meals before she heads back. It takes her about 15 minutes to come back with the with 2 trays laden with food. You notice that underneath these trays are small finger loops that she has slid her prosthetic hands into to help balance them. And then she kind of displays the meals out for you to take what you guys would like to eat. There is a vegetarian option for Fred, and of course a nearly full carnivore option for Sasha. Kitchen and Orion, you are both also offered food.
No, thank you.
I just take whatever plate I'm given and slide it over to Sasha.
Which I gladly take.
Okay. She gives you kind of a small curtsy and then heads back to the kitchen. And Nathan regards you. Specifically, Sasha.
Mhm.
Tell me, what have you been up to whilst you've been away from these city walls?
Traveling mostly. You know, I go out and help those in need. Recently, work has not been a lot, so I took on something else as a request, and now I am here with these new friends.
Looks like you all look like a rather eclectic, motley crew, as it were.
We still get the job done.
That's good to hear. But do remember to get at least paid for your services while you're here.
Of course.
Really? Sarah?
Motley Crew.
I know!
You gave it to them.
I did! I didn't do it intentionally!
We wish we could have hair like that.
Also, just for the record, very excited I get to go see those guys in August. I found out they added a show to Toronto and almost immediately bought tickets. I'm so fucking excited. The DM's IRL obsession with 80s hair metal aside, conversation between the party and Nathan flows rather easily. And it's around dinner time. Sasha, when your brother enters the tavern. However, he is quickly followed by a very large group of knights that then fill up the tavern. The noise level here gets extremely loud.
Oh.
And so sorry. I need the party to give me perception checks, please.
21.
It's much better this
At
time.
normal?
Yes, at normal.
It's better.
3.
19.
Okay.
At least I'm not the only one.
Okay. You notice figures that look like they belong, but their clothing is just a little bit too nice for everybody else that's here. Also, Q, could you please quickly give me a description and a personality for Sasha's brother? Like, just
Yeah.
DM that to me.
Oh.
And they sit off on their own in a corner. The one particular thing that sticks out to Fred and Karasef is that they are all wearing animal-based masks. However, the one thing that grabs all of your attention, regardless of what your perception check was, the doors bang open, and in steps two large, foreboding presences. They are wearing horned helms. Although, at first you think that they're horned helms before you realize that no, the helmets have just been cut away to leave room for their own horns. One is dressed in burgundy and the other in teal. And they call out to their knights. And the knights greet them with camaraderie. And as they sit down and remove their helmets, it is very clear that in this tavern, surrounded by their allies, which number about 30 to 40 people, Sir Jourdain and Dame Jesmond have sat down for a night of drinking. There's one other thing I want to cover before we call it for the night, which is specifically dealing with Sasha and Maxim. And as soon as Q gets me that stuff, I'll be able to do that. And then we are going to call it here for the night. Karasef, do try to control yourself. It is okay. We know. We know. I love the expressions, by the way. I do. Love it. I love that that's what's going on underneath Karasef's mask. A man approaches you, wearing armor that looks rather a lot like the armor that Sasha is wearing, although it seems to be more embossed in leather than it is made out of metal. And he just straight up ignores you guys. Instead, of course, beelining right for Sasha and greeting him with a large hug. Maxim, of course, very happy to once more see his brother and his own handiwork. once more. Here we go. Sasha,
I
it's
realized I
good.
was muted. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
okay. Sasha, it's good to see you again.
Of course, I can give a brief description of his looks if you want. That's what I said, but I was muted.
Sure, yes,
I
please.
apologize.
Inform the party of what he looks like.
Maxim is as tall as Sasha would be, both being at 6'9". He has long blonde hair. It's like a dirty blonde. It is tied in a tight ponytail, which if it was loose, it would probably well be, past his ass. His eyes are a blue-brown mix. When you look at them, you can see mainly blue with spots of brown. His hands are rough from his work. And he is well muscular, but he is actually he's a little bit leaner than Sasha is, so he fits a little bit thinner. But he carries a bright smile for the most part. But yeah,
Okay.
I pull him into a hug immediately.
And the bright smile is currently turned on Sasha, however, would also soon be turned on the party as soon as you are all introduced.
Of course, and I would go down the line introducing everyone.
It is good to see you, brother.
Of course. I expected to meet you at the shop, but you weren't there.
He picks up the bag that's kind of hanging over his shoulder, and you
Mhm.
hear the familiar clink of tools. I've had to expand the business.
I heard.
Yes. It's not pleasant. But I'm doing well and able to procure people what they need in exchange for services or, well, money. Sasha, you're getting the idea that he is being very careful to avoid using the words like good or
Yeah.
help, considering who just walked into the tavern.
Yeah. Of course.
You and your friends should come by the shop. It'll be open all day tomorrow, and we'll be able to catch up then.
Of course. I'd like to visit later, perhaps if you have time. Just have you look over my armor.
Of course. If you want to come by tonight, I will, well, you know where the key is.
Of course.
You're welcome to bring your friends if you would like, but it will get done faster if you come alone.
Of course.
He claps his hand to your shoulder, gives a nod to everybody before he exits the tavern, avoiding the knights as much as he possibly can. Party, as you settle in for the night, knowing that Jourdain and Jesmond are behind you, drinking with their allies, you have to formulate a plan. And you have a little bit more of a time limit than just the 2 weeks to maintain ahead of the army. Something is watching you. And if people start disappearing, well, that's just going to be bad. You will formulate a plan on what you guys are going to do and how you're going to deal with this, and we will discuss this plan next week. So, we will be back next week on May 26th. I hope everybody enjoys their long weekend this weekend. It is the May 2 4 weekend. And I hope that everybody had fun tonight. I know we're ending a little bit early, but I wound up throwing a bunch of stuff at you guys that I didn't have 100% prepared, so I have to go finish prepping the other shit that I need to get you guys for next week. We will be back, of course, on the 26th. We have another episode on Monday of
Wild
the
Beyond the Witchlight.
Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Thank you. I was honest to God about to say the Troubleshooters, and I'm like, nope, that wrapped up. This is a completely new campaign. We've got some new faces joining us over there. You should go check them out. Keith is a phenomenal DM, and from what I've heard, the party is, well, they're interesting.
A lot of small and too tall.
Yes. Tuesday will be another
This will be
episode
our group name.
Oh my god, I love that.
Heroism.
Tuesday will be another episode of A Remnant Shadow, our Star Wars game run by Jason. Wednesday, we have another episode of False Skull and Knights where they have also introduced 2 new players. One of which is actually a good friend of both mine and JT's, who we have cosplayed with in the past. And then, of course, Thursday night is this familiar slot right here, A Knight's Ransom. We will be back next week. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Have a good weekend. The pandemic is still going on, so please remember to wash your hands, social distance when you can, wear a mask, be kind to one another, and remember, roar for initiative. Have a good night, everybody.